Pete from Cheap Homesteading, and today we're going to be working on my greenhouse. And my goal is this Monday we're going to start putting the plants in here, and I need to finish up a lot of little loose ends before I can do that. Today the temperature got to 95 in here. It's way too hot. I need to put a fan in that'll come on with a thermostat. I looked at my options and there was like greenhouse fans and all that, but it seemed like they used a lot of power to run. So I kind of wanted to make my greenhouse run on as little power as possible, like LED lights if I have any, or have like my fan, just have a smaller fan. So I was out at a garage sale and there was a big box fan that actually changed directions. It would suck air or blow air. And I thought, man, it's a nice size fan. I think that's what I'm going to use to ventilate my greenhouse. My greenhouse is a high tunnel greenhouse, but it's only 24 feet long. So it's basically 24 by 24. So I think this fan is going to do good. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to install the fan. So here you go. This is the fan we're going to install. It is the Air King fan, and it is bi-directional. So it'll either blow it in or blow it out by pushing those buttons. Nice vintage fan. And they have aluminum blades on it. I just didn't want like a fan that would suck a lot of power, because that would mean I'd have to run a heavy line out here. And I just kind of want to have a pretty simple fan system. And I think this is going to do it, because as you can see, this isn't very long. It's only 24 feet long. So it's not a huge space. If you ended up having a 100-foot long one, you probably would need one or two big fans on the end of it. But I'm thinking this is going to be able to move a lot of that hot air out, and it shouldn't have too much of a problem. I've been thinking about this, and I think I'm going to mount it in between those two bars. I'm going to use some of these 2x4s I made with my Alaskan sawmill. I'm going to make a frame for the actual fan, and then put it up there, and I'm going to use some of those straps and just strap it all together. I think that is going to be sturdy enough, and if it wiggles around too much, I'll have to brace it to that bar. But we'll just have to see once we get it plugged in how much it wiggles around. I don't think it'll be too bad though. I didn't have the right size clamps left. I had a bunch of the bigger ones. That's kind of what I'm gonna have to use. She ain't pretty, but it's functional. I got it up in there. I think I'm just gonna hold it in with a ratchet strap. I'm gonna have to put in a few more boards. My drill ran out of batteries, so that'll be another day. So I am back at installing my fan in my greenhouse. As you can see, it's raining today. It's kind of not ideal because I have to get to the outside of the greenhouse to tie in the plastic, but you know what? I need this done. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I looked at my fan and I used a ratchet strap and it looked awful. So I thought, you know what, gotta make this a little better. So I thought, how am I going to mount this thing that is kind of pretty sturdy, but it's not too hard to remove? I think I'm going to just use wood screws and screw it in, but I wanted a really solid way of doing it and an easy way to get it out. So we're just going to screw this 2x4 to the side of the frame. I'll do one on this side and one on that side. I already drilled 4 holes, so we're just going to screw that in. Thing is, I did have it up there with a ratchet strap, which was functional, but I really didn't like the way it looked. Ratchet straps are kind of a temporary fix kind of thing. This thing's going to be pretty permanent, and I want it to look pretty good. So this is how you fasten the plastic to the frame. It's wiggle wire. You know what? I am not a professional at doing it, so I don't know. I might be doing this wrong. The end result is it's fully fastened. I'm going to go out and we're going to install the fan and kind of get this done before the rain starts. So there is the fan. It's installed. It doesn't look too bad. It's definitely going to be pretty functional. Let's go see the outside. So there you go. It's looking good. I think what I'm going to do is make a bit of a flap that I can open for the summer and close it for the winter. Possibly in the between seasons, I might hinge it so it'll just open enough to push some air out. But I think that's going to work good. So there you go. Here's the cheap homesteading version of greenhouse ventilation. I really didn't want to spend a ton of money, and ventilating your greenhouse is super important, because if it flips off or it gets too hot, next thing you know, all your plants are dead. So it's kind of important to make sure that your greenhouse is ventilated enough. And I think this is going to do it. Let's fire it up so you can actually see it run. You know, I can actually feel the wind coming through the door behind me when the fan is on. I mean, it makes sense that it does, but it's definitely moving quite a bit of air. That is gonna cool it down a lot. So right now it's about 75 in here. So there you go. The fan is up and running, and I can already feel the breeze coming in from the door behind me. So I think the fan is an appropriate size to actually keep the greenhouse cool. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to hook up a thermostat a little bit, try to get that going. But otherwise, the fan project's done until I wire the whole greenhouse, because I want to wire the greenhouse for some extra lights and all that. But for now, we'll just plug in the fan with extension cords. So that's about enough for today, and you guys have a good one.